This is the real spiel. Well,
Turn left.
the killers are back. But now they're woman killers. We always have these slave catching white boys who are sitting around in these law enforcement agencies in the United States, from the north to the south to the Midwest. And all that needs to happen is you just need to expose these guys to black people at any level, whether they be black people committing crimes, black folks in need of help, black folks rioting, black folks walking down the street, and in this case, 110-pound, 5-foot tall black woman who called the police because she thought there was a break-in happening in her home. These gentlemen, after conducting their investigation, if you want to call it that, all they had to do was go home. They are now asking this woman for identification, something that didn't even have to be asked for, because she called the police. You're at her home, you're asking her for identification. You don't have to. You're asking her to find ID. You don't have to. You could have simply said, "Miss, we're about to clear this call. We didn't find anything. You have a good day." They could have said, "What's your name?" Which she gave them her name, first and last. They could have cleared the call. On their way. Nothing left to have a conversation about. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. Apologize for that glitch. They decided to hang around, to look for more, to look into her rooms, to do more undue diligence off an individual who was simply calling because they thought their home was being broken into. This is the thing. Before I talk about this murderer, Sean Grayson, why is it, and this I need to talk to law enforcement officers who might listen to this and those who intend to go into law enforcement. Why is it the predilection of your mind that when you are in the home or in the presence of a black person, you start looking for potential crimes? When you watch that video, these boys were looking for potential crimes outside of what they were actually called to do. Because being black in America is being suspicious. We're in a black person's house, potential suspicion of being suspicious. Everything about their movements demonstrated their incredible, insecure sense of fear of being in the presence of a black person. Let's break this whole thing down. For those who don't know the story, Sonya Massey, and I know we're going to talk about Sonya Massey so much that no one will ever say the name Sean Grayson, woman killer. That's why I put it up there like this. We're going to say Sonya Massey. Look at all the names. Run all the names back. Run all the faces back. Right? We know what they look like. We know what all these young kids, young women, young men, we know it all the way back to Emmett Till. We know what he looks like. But if somebody says, who killed Emmett Till? Who killed Sandra, was it Sandra Wade? Who killed her? The memory of those people drifts, because those white people get to go back into their world. They get to work. They get to get new jobs, new positions. They get to sit down at bars. They get to walk around and they never become famous. Oh no, I'm gonna make you famous. That's what we need to change. Sean Grayson, woman killer. That's what should happen. Every time the name Sean Grayson, isn't that the woman killer? I learned this. I learned this from Game of Thrones. Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. The Kingslayer. They called him the Kingslayer. The Kingslayer. Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. That was the slur. He was like, oh, this is the guy who kills kings. He's a murderer. He stabbed the king in the back. This is the guy. He's the Kingslayer. It wasn't a good term. It meant that for the rest of his life, oh, this guy's the Kingslayer. He kills kings. He has no nobility. He has no honor. Sean Grayson, woman killer. He's a woman killer. Everywhere he goes, Sean Grayson, woman killer, woman killer. Sean Grayson, woman killer. Say it with me. Sean Grayson, woman killer, woman killer. You're a killer. Don't say black woman killer, because that will disenfranchise some of those conservatives down there in the South. Just say Sean Grayson, woman killer, because that's what he is. He's a woman killer. Right. So now that we have established that we're going to remember who Sean Grayson is, he's a woman killer. He's a woman killer. Kills women. A 265-pound, 6'5" man, armed to the teeth, kills women. I'ma shoot you in the face, he says. And does just that. He's a woman killer. So, let's get into the fact that after the call is cleared, they have told her, miss, we've looked around your property. We have found nothing suspicious. They decide to enter into her home. Why? What are you looking for in her house? It is clear also that this person is a little bit off, because they're asking her questions. Well, what's wrong? I just need some help. What do you need help with? We've helped. Nobody's here. We've helped you. I just need some help. What do you need help with? It sounds like you're okay. You leave that call. That's a social work call. You leave that call. There's no reason to continue with that call. But they go into her house. Flashlights come out. You guys got the video. I just see it differently because I'm ex-law enforcement. So I see it. I know what they're doing. I know the sense of anxiety because of their training. Because in their training, they are trained to be fearful of new environments. So they're walking into, using their privilege as police to gain access to private citizens' homes, but then they bring their own implicit anxiety and bias. Of course, they start looking, flashlights, looking, because police safety, officer safety. I gotta make sure my environment's clear. Officer safety. If you're unsafe, go home. If you're unsafe, go back in your car. But they're looking. Can we get some ID? Again, pre-programmed. The call came as a 911 call for somebody breaking into the home. The operator would have given the name. That information would be already known. That is not urgent information. Call's cleared. Nothing's here. Call's cleared. What's going to clear this call? I'm 10-8. Back in service. Give me another call. This is done. This call's over. Well, we need something to put down in our occurrence report. So what? What's her name? That's it. You don't need her ID. You don't need the woman going through her disheveled home, looking for identification, banging down her door. Why did you take so long to answer the door? Why did you take so long to answer your door? What do you look? Wait, I thought you came there because somebody was getting broken into. You don't ask people. Well, officer, I was just getting my clothes on. Oh, that would be reasonable. Anyway, so you're asking for ID, and then, in the midst of asking this woman for ID, extending your stay in her home, you're like, we need to tell her to turn off the stove. You sent her to the stove. The same stove you're worried about, where you have to take 5 steps back, and she's like, well, what's wrong? I'm just getting away from your boiling water. What? I rebuke you in Jesus' name, she said. I'm going to pour boiling water on you? Like, yeah, I don't want to be hit with boiling water. Why all of a sudden has this person become dangerous to you when you're finished the call? The psychology of it is incredible. All of a sudden, you sending the woman, it's like saying there's knives on the counter. Go put that knife, go pick up that knife. She picks up the knife, put that knife down. You sent her to the stove. You sent her to the boiling pot. And then you tell her, you better not put that boiling water on me. You sound like something's wrong with you. Regular officer's going to say, leave that alone. Miss, don't touch that. When we leave, you can go deal with that. It's fine right now. Doesn't look like any problems are happening there right now. We just need your name when we're leaving. You can deal with that after. She's got a bunch of knives lying on the ground. You're going to go say, Miss, we don't feel comfortable. Can you go pick up those knives and put them away while we finish? And then you point a gun at her for picking up the same knife you told her. Come on, man. That call went so badly in that young officer's mind. Like, I can't see him sitting around thinking to himself, watching that over and over again. I could have done this so many ways. Like, I can't see how he can't be agonizing at his stupidity, agonizing at his lack of critical thinking, agonizing at his absence of problem-solving capabilities, agonizing at the poor training, at the poor use of opportunity. I don't know what they do in Illinois to woman killers, but I'm sorry. I hope Mr. Grayson gets everything that they offer in prison, in jails, state, federal, wherever they park him while he's awaiting his trial. He might be out on bail already. He might be out on bail already. Him getting fired. The guy with him's probably going to get fired. Yes. The idiot with him is going to get fired because his training tells him, let me go get my med kit. That's his training. See, training is what the human mind defaults to in a crisis. Let me say it again. Training is what you default to in a crisis. That's how I know that that boy was trained to respond that way, because it was exculpatory. It wasn't processional. He didn't process that. He just default. Let me go get my med kit. Yes, because you must render care. You must render care. No, bro, don't worry about it. It's a shot to the head. So what? Apparently, she's still breathing. Apparently, she was still breathing. He caught himself. Nah, just let her. It's nothing you can do. What do you want to say? Just let her bleed out. Where did they find this guy? I'll shoot you in your effing face. I am sure that was recited many times in police school. I'm sure that's in the notebook, right? Oh yeah, we pull your gun and say, I will shoot you in the effing face. What? How about police, don't move. Drop the weapon. Stop resisting. Put that down. How about backing up? What is she going to do with the hot water? Take 5 steps back. Miss, put that down. You know what? If somebody holds hot water long enough, it stops being hot. Wow. That standoff could have happened for 5 minutes. When you see the body cam footage, the pot's not in her hands anymore. All she has is the two cloths over her head, ducking down. He shoots her with her hands over her head, ducking down. This guy came to hunt and kill a black woman that night. He wanted a notch on the barrel of his gun, of his semi-automatic gun. He wanted to be able to say, I've killed one of them. I've killed one of them. This boy was prepared to kill somebody. Let me tell you the difference between a police officer and a soldier. Cops are not prepared to kill. That's not how they are trained. That's not how they are programmed. Soldiers are trained to kill. They are trained to see the target as nothing. It's just a target. It's just a mark. Take out that situation that's in front of you. Eliminate it. The threat or potential threat. Police officers are not trained for that. They are trained for de-escalation. They are trained to have standoffs. They are trained, of course, not to be in a scenario where they are equal. If somebody comes with a knife, you come with a gun. If somebody comes with their fist, you come with a billy club. Fine. If somebody comes with verbal altercation, you pepper spray them. Fine. So you taser them. Fine. But a person, they are always deeming the level of threat of the person that's in front of them. That's how a police officer is supposed to be trained. I do not understand how this individual felt so threatened by that woman being not just with the pot in her hand, but after she put it down, being near the pot, that he shot her in the head. And he's an excellent shot. It is not easy to shoot somebody in the head in crisis. It's not. It's not easy to do that. He shot her. He was aiming for what he shot. Right in the head. He knew it immediately. Headshot. Saw it right away. Headshot. Know how he knew it was a headshot? Because he was aiming for her head. Let me tell you something about crisis and what police officers are trained for. They're trained for the greater body mass. They're not trained to shoot for the head. That's a sniper from the army with a rifle and a sight. This guy knew immediately it was a headshot because he was aiming for her head. He wasn't aiming to stop the threat. He was aiming to kill her. And that's how he knew. Headshot. Don't waste your time, buddy. This one's dead. No sense of compassion whatsoever. Not trained to serve the public whatsoever. How did this guy pass any form of psychological evaluation? How? Who? Not just the guy next to him should be fired. Whoever trained him should be fired. Whoever admitted him should be fired. Whoever looked at his psychological evaluation and felt this person had the capacity to be a police officer should be fired. His training officer who allowed him to get through probation should be fired. That's how many people should be fired dealing with this kid. Because for them not to know that this psychopathic murderer works for them. Now, you would have had conversation with him. You heard his conversation. Crazy bitch. How he's talking about her. People know who this guy is. They know his lack of interpersonal skills. He's not a secret. His behavior, his attitude towards black people is not a secret amongst his peers. I guarantee that. They know who this dude is. What y'all got to say? John Morant, I'm sorry, brother. I'm ignoring your call. I can't believe we're still, I'm about to hit you with this, still dealing with this in 2024. No regard for human life. They said he was fired from a couple of stations already before that happened. Jeez, I didn't know that. Welcome to America, people. We cannot be desensitized to these. I'm about to hit you with all these, brother. Makes you not want to call the police. Let me do with that now, because you got some good points there. You have no business in America calling the police to your home. A black man, a black woman, especially a black couple, have no reason to call the police to your house. None whatsoever. This is why I'm telling you, on this channel, every single solitary black man and woman of age should possess a licensed firearm. Not just one, should possess a licensed firearm. Should have the capacity to be wearing Kevlar clothing, gloves, helmets when dealing with cops, when dealing with police. Should have a safe room in your home. Should have an intercom system in their vehicles and in their homes that you can answer police via intercom without even opening your door. Should have a system of exchange where you can actually send your ID through the window, send your ID through some type of slot, because interaction, direct interaction with the police forces of anywhere in the United States of America heightens your capacity for your mortality to be extinguished quickly. Black people shouldn't call the police in America. Handle that stuff yourself. Handle that stuff yourself. You understand? Don't call the police to your home. Your car gets stolen, you walk yourself into a police station, you sit down, you give a statement at the desk, you go home. Do not call the police to your home. And you dummies running around, married, and calling the police for domestic, you're trying to get each other killed. A black woman calls the police for a black man only because she wants him to die. And if you're doing that, if you're a black man calling the police on a woman, something's wrong with you, first of all. Something's wrong with your manhood, and you want that woman to be killed. You call the police on a black man, you're trying to kill him, period. So there's no reason to call the police in America. There really isn't. There really isn't. You have the capacity within your constitutional rights to form militias, form local militias that police your own neighborhood. It's been done already. The Guardian Angels, these other types of local municipal self-serving bodies. Put yourself in position. Do not call. Listen, let this be a lesson to all black people in America. Don't call the police to your house. Don't. Have your own gun. Live in communities where other black people live, where you can call the neighborhood watch and say, hey, what's going on? I heard some noises outside my house. Can some of you guys come over? Do not call police to your house in America, in the West. Can't. That environment, that Trump environment breeds racist bias towards you in an incredible way. And that Antichrist orange man is bringing it back in droves. If you thought, as the brother said here, man, I can't believe it's 2024, we're still dealing with this. Oh, really? Wait till that orange Antichrist gets it. They will be hunting Negroes in America again, because these slave catchers are going to be emboldened. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to scare the hell out of you. Sean Grayson might get pardoned by Donald Trump if he gets that seat. Sean Grayson, good chance, will be pardoned by Donald Trump. Coming out of office might be the last thing he does is get Sean Grayson out of jail. Oh, trust me, it's on his list. Whew. They'll be hunting Negroes in America when you put Trump in power, baby. Let me see. What else you got here? Taser, maze. They could have done all kinds of things to that lady. But again, the hot water scenario, I would have just backed up. It's incredible to me to see the ineptitude of these local police forces to not identify that men like that work for them. Man, I can tell you that guy's whole life. I can tell you Sean Grayson's whole life. I know what kind of kid he was in high school. I know he probably wanted to be in the army. I know who he votes for. I know his whole behavior, bro. I know why he wanted to be a cop. I know everything about the Sean Graysons of the world. I know guys like that. I had to work with guys like that. I had rednecks like that working with me here in Ontario, in the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police. There's a lot of rednecks like Sean Grayson working in there. I had to deal with those kind of crackers every day. In fact, when I was just a cadet, well, not a cadet, but I was a rookie cop, still in the academy, every particular class had their own name. You know what? The white dude, the white cop who was the head of our particular class, what he wanted to call our class? Conley's Clan. that's the truth. I said, what did you say? What did you just say? Conley's Clan. You want me to wear a t-shirt for our Conley's Clan? You want me to wear a Clan shirt? Are you out of your effing mind? That's what I had to say, but I wasn't saved then. I used to cuss. I said, are you out of your effing mind? There's no disrespect to my Christians who listen to me. I'm just telling you how I said it. When I was 23 years old, as a young, unsaved, crazy militant, they called me a militant. They said I was a militant black guy that they hired because of an equity hire. They had to hire me because of the social contract, and they had to hire a certain amount of blacks. They said this equity hire, this guy's a militant. And they wanted me to wear a t-shirt that said the Conley's Clan. I said, you got to be out of your mind if you think you're going to call anything I'm part of the Klan. Ah, that's Canada, baby. I can't imagine what they're doing in the U.S. I can't imagine how them cracker boys think down there. Because you see, a cop, a white police officer, and I got some good white cop friends. Don't get me wrong. Here, I've got some good buddies who I went through the force with. My training officer was a redneck, but he trained me, and we had our ups and downs. But after you save somebody's life a couple times, that neck don't come as red. But I had some dudes who came through with me, good dudes, and I had some dirty old racist white dudes who tried to get me fired every day. I had those guys too, and I had a couple of turncoat Negroes doing it too, because once you immerse a few black people amongst a regime of white rednecks, some of those brothers turn into you know what, Uncle Tom Negroes. And it wasn't easy dealing with them in Canada. So imagine now those good old boys down in the United States of America. Imagine them now under a post-Trump and future Trump America, hunting Negroes in 2024. And no disregard for race, no disregard for gender, no disregard for size, no disregard for the fact that this woman called you, knowing that you are on tape. This is the audacity. Apparently his body cam was off for whatever reason. Because a dude like that absolutely doesn't want his body cam ever on. Like I said, I know Sean Grayson's. He's like, I'm not turning this on. This is just going to be evidence against me later on. I'm never turning this on. If I don't have to turn it on, I'm never turning it on. But his partners had it on. They took everybody's body cam and they heard everything this boy was saying. This guy was giving evidence against himself. Listen to how this guy talks. Jeez. So I can imagine the kind of behavior that's going on down there. Yeah, but you don't want none of these boys in your home. And so the Sean Graysons of the world, GoFundMe's going to go up for Sean Grayson. Sean Grayson's going to have millions of dollars in the GoFundMe overnight. Millions of dollars in GoFundMe money overnight. Sean Grayson will get convicted. They'll probably even give him a considerable amount of time for what he's done. But he will have money waiting for him when he comes out. Because that GoFundMe doesn't go anywhere. Unless somebody suspends it. And these days they know GoFundMe don't always give you your money. So they're probably going to figure out a better way to give it to him. So he absolutely gets it, whether it's a PayPal or something else. But the Sean Graysons of the world, my friends, they are here. They are absolutely here. And then we have to do the song and dance. And we got to bring up all of our guys. All of our people come to bear. All of the relevant people from the black community come up. And they have the same song and dance. The song and dance is because the only thing you can recover is finances. This has hurt me. We want peace. We never want this to happen to anybody else. What a loss. I'm at a loss. His mother's at a loss. The community's at a loss. Her children are at a loss. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. They sue Sean Grayson. They sue the chief of police. They sue the sheriff's office of Illinois. They sue the city of Illinois. They sue the state of Illinois. And they sue the governor. That's how that rocks, baby. Everybody gets sued. Class action suit. Right? Money being set up for the parents, for the children, everything. These guys know how to get it. They come. It's the same people standing in the back. Every time a black person is gunned down in America, killed, choked out, whatever they do to us, it's the same crowd. Why? Because they know that they show up. Write a check. Write a check. But you know what they don't say? The stuff that we should be saying. Oh, I'm not sorry. I'm not politically correct. Let's go drag that boy out of jail. That's what they should be saying. Oh, yeah. That's what they should be saying. Let's go drag his ass out of jail. That's what they should be saying. That's really what they should be saying. Right? But of course, you good old boy. You good. I'm not a good person. You good people, you want justice. Justice? You'll never see it in that country. You'll never see it. If justice existed in America, Sean Grayson's should face the death penalty. You heard it here. If justice existed in America, a police officer that murders, because he could kill somebody and it's not a murder, that murders an unarmed person should get the death penalty. That's what should happen in America. The death penalty should happen. I said it again. The death penalty should happen. Oh, the death. This guy's very extreme. He killed somebody. He murdered somebody. So he shouldn't get the death penalty? They coming for Kamala now. Oh, Kamala. Some of you corn-fed Negroes. Kamala, what has she ever done for the black community? And oh, Kamala was holding up evidence because somebody was on death row. Death row. Kamala was dealing with somebody on death row. Yeah, and Kamala was blocking the evidence that would have gotten this man who was on death row, who was innocent, off death row. I just heard death row. Sean Grayson should be worried not about going to jail for life. He should be worried about having the state end his life. Because you don't have to worry about y'all in Illinois. You Chi-Town boys ain't gonna go down to that countryside place in Illinois and burn that doggone jail down where Sean Grayson lives. You're not gonna do that. You're too nice. You're not gonna go find and hunt down Sean Grayson and be like, boy, you're not gonna be breathing any air anywhere around here. No, y'all, we only do that to our own people. Not that good old corn-fed white boy Sean Grayson. No. And when I say death penalty, oh my goodness, that's too extreme. Right, because we're the only piece of people who should die. Right? We're the only ones worthy of death. Everybody else should live out the rest of their life in a comfy cell. No, buddy. Police officers who murder people should face the death penalty in 50 states. In what? How many territories y'all got? 3 territories, 50 states. A police officer that takes an innocent, unarmed person's life should face the death penalty. There should be a federal charge. It should be an overlapping, overage covering of every state and territory, that when a police officer murders an innocent person, it's the death penalty. Innocent, unarmed person, death penalty. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. That's too harsh for y'all though. That's too terrible. That's what should happen. Sean Grayson should get the needle, whatever they do now, the electric chair, whatever they do to them now, that's what he should be facing. That's what he should be facing. Because that level of breach of trust is inexcusable. That level of breach of trust will make sure that these psychopathic slave hunting white kids don't join the police force. Oh, bro, you can't do that. You can't do that no more. Yeah, they kill you, bro. If you shoot a black person, they will execute you. That's what should happen. That's all that should happen. Why do you think they're still killing Negroes in America? There's no penalty. You got to make sure when the white right lifts up $5, $6, $7, $10 million for them, says, don't worry, you serve your time. When you come out, we're going to take care of you. You make sure, no, there's no money to collect, bro. You're dead. You will be dead. Your widow might get that money. Your child might get that money. Your clan club might get that money. But you ain't going to get it because you're going to be dead. You are not surviving the murder of a black man, a black woman, a black child in America anymore. Death penalty. Death penalty. Put Kamala on that. Put Kamala on that. Death penalty. When you murder innocents, you deserve the death penalty. Close the book on that. And I don't want to hear nothing about it. You can complain all you want. You can call me any names that you want to call me. There comes a time when black people in America need to be fed up. These Israelis said, we're tired of you people invading us. We're going to kill everybody. We're going to Daenerys Targaryen your behinds. We're going to blow up everything. We don't care if it's kids. We don't care if it's pregnant women. Everything. We're tired of it. And the world sat back and has let the Israelis commit genocide. No problem. But the minute that black people say, we're tired of it, we want blood. They ain't gonna let you say that because the money is gonna stop. The money's gonna stop. I'm a Bible believing, I'm a Bible thumping, I'm a God fearing. This is the day that the Lord has made, and let's be glad in it. That's a wonderful thing to say. But if you just killed my daughter, I'm gonna say, vengeance belongs to God, and I want it. I'll quote something else. That's what I would say. Vengeance belongs to God, but I want it. That's what I would be quoting. That's the scripture I would have chosen. You know? Do you have daughters? Could you imagine some big old dude comes in there and kills your little daughter? Kills the mother of your grandchildren when you know doggone well this boy, and then listen to him besmirch her and say all kind of wicked things about her after he's murdered her, and you're talking about this is the day that the Lord has made, let us give thanks and be glad in it. I got different scriptures for you. Fight against them who fight against me. I'll give you one of those, one of David's quotes. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you something else. I got Bible for you, but it won't be that. It won't be that. Jeez. When are you gonna get tired? When is the air over your head, and when is that star strangled banner going to choke you into responding in America? I don't know. I watched it. I watched it again. I watched it again. I watched different angles. The lady said, okay. I'm going to shoot you in the face. Okay. Dropped the pot, had her hands up. Bam, bam, bam. Headshot. Premeditated. They can't even give him first degree. They got to give him second, because the concept that he came there looking to kill her, of course, is not on the table. But there has to be something different for law enforcement, because you're held to a higher standard. There has to be something different for a police officer who does something like that, who should have the wherewithal with other officers with him. Remember, if this guy's alone, his defense attorneys can say his level of threat was heightened being by himself, where nobody watching his back, he's in a dark scenario in a place that's unknown to him. Here's another guy right here. You've got two people in the room. You've got enough force to handle yourselves against a 110-pound, 30-year-old woman, 5 feet tall. Second-degree murder is not enough. It's just not enough. There has to be some kind of federal new law targeted for law enforcement who do these things. Because first degree will never stick, because they didn't wake up that morning and say, oh, I'm on my way to Sonya's house to kill her. So first degree could never be the scenario with them. But there has to be something more. And it has to be worthy of the death penalty. That's my opinion. I don't know what y'all got to say about it, but that's my opinion. Let me just look at a couple of statements. I feel for her family. I hope they get all the justice they deserve. Not unless he's alive. If he's alive, there's no justice. Cannot deal with it. Pisses me off. Blessings to the family. Do you think it's funny how black people never grew up practicing our Second Amendment? Yeah, they don't. You guys don't worry about guns at all. Black people are afraid of guns in America because you're trained to be afraid of guns. It's national news. It's international news because I'm in Canada and I'm hearing about it. Let me see here. Romans 12, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves. Gabriel. That's a scripture that's in the Bible. It's God breathed. Do not avenge yourselves. You're right. That father shouldn't have to go out there and hunt down Sean and kill him. He shouldn't have to do that. The state should do it for him. You're correct. He shouldn't have to avenge himself. But what should happen is the state should quickly process Sean Grayson's murder of his child and end his life. And he should be a witness to it. So I agree with that scripture. He shouldn't have to do it himself. The state should do it for him. So anyways, that's my time. there's no conclusion to these matters. Her name gets added to a very long list. Nothing is going to stop the next guy. What has to be in the back of every police officer's mind is, if I shoot somebody, I'm not just going to get fired. I'm going to get executed. I got to be careful. This is Dale K. Brereton. This is The Real Spear. May the memory of Sonya stay in our minds and our hearts. But may God avenge innocent blood. And Sean Grayson, the day of the Lord is coming for you. Amen.